Many nodes in Nuke are reversible, which means that by checking a checkbox, you can essentially undo what you did to them and get back the exact same result. For example, the grade node is reversible, which means that all of the image manipulations possible in it are fully mathematically reversible. So for example, let's say that I took this image and changed the gamma and the brightness, and I wanted to change the gain to make it look cooler or something. I could take that, and by using the reverse checkbox, fully reverse it. So I'm putting this on the number 2 viewer. So here's the original, here's the grade, and here's the reverse version. So here's the original on the 3 viewer and the reverse version on 2. Fully reversible. Original, reversed. So a lot of really interesting possibilities are opened up by this. You're not forced in applying the reverse to the same image that you started with. So you can use this to do some pretty cool stuff. Let's say, for example, that I have a couple images here that are not matching in terms of the white balance. In linear light, white balance is quite literal. It's almost the same as reshooting the image with the white balance set correctly. So once you've linearized the image, it's pretty trivial to white balance it to look correct. I'm going to white balance both these images to try to make white look the same, and then we'll put them back to some other look. So let's start with this too cool image, and to change the white balance, you just change the white point. So now I'm telling Nuke I'd like to redefine what I pick here to be the new white. So I'm going to color pick this white here on that, which is a bluish color. And I'll do the same thing for this image. Put this on the 2 viewer. I'll make this white card white for this one. So that should become brighter and whiter, and this should be brighter and whiter also. Now these images are in roughly the same color zone now, color space now, if you like. So what I'm going to do is wipe between the two. I'm going to put this view on one side, grade 2, and I'll put this view on the other side. There we go. So I can see them both while I work on the color. Now, remember earlier I mentioned that these gain controls and multiply controls can be used together. I'm going to use the multiply control as my overall brightness, and I'm going to use the gain control as my sort of tint control. So I'm going to use that to make the overall brightness of these two similar, and I'll use the gain. I'm holding down control and clicking the color wheel because I like this bigger color wheel more, to multiply the image by some of these values to get the wood to look the same color. So I'm going to use multiply here as my overall brightness, and I'll use this as my sort of color controller. Once I'm fairly happy that those are looking mostly similar, let's compare it a little bit more here. My wood on my left is still too red and probably still too bright. Adjust the gamma just a little bit. Once I'm happy that they're close, I can start doing my split screen. Okay, that's pretty close. Not perfect, but close enough. So I'm going to take these two and I'm going to combine them just using a very quick mat that I'll build in the roto node. So I'm going to view this guy here, and I'll just view this guy, and I'll just cut out as little as possible of him as I can. I'm going to use this edge sort of as my mat line. I'm holding down Control and dragging to make a soft edge mat. Control drag. So this is actually softening, feathering this mat. Control drag. Control drag. I have a big feathered mat. Don't need so many knots. Hit delete there to clear that. And I'll use a key mix to combine them. So A over B by this mat. Now, if I wanted to get back to this original color balance that the warmer image had, I could impose that on my entire solution that I've created here by copying this grade node and reversing it here. So now I've pushed this guy back to the same grade that that one had. So that's where it started. I white balanced them both into approximately the same color. And then I took the operation that I did to white balance this one and then un-white balanced it back to where it was, simultaneously pushing this one to the same place. And this is possible because everything's in floating point. There's no loss in terms of color or quantizing from pushing it back and forth like that. And because all of these operations are perfectly mathematically reversible, there's no loss mathematically either in terms of any of these operations being lossy. So that's a pretty cool workflow that you can do using the grade node that exploits its reversibility. There's a lot of other workflows you can create using reversibility or inverting transforms and things like that, and we're going to explore some of those today also.